It's Jalecia. I'm Alana. We are Digital Green Book, and today we're just having a chat with one of our mutual friends. His name is Valentino. Hi, Tino. How are you?
Welcome, welcome.
Hey Alana, hey Jaleesa, how you doing?
I'm
Blessed.
doing well, thank you.
Yes.
Uh,
Bitcoin just ran and hit 60K this morning.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
lined up too. I woke up, I was like, yes, I'm still in the trade. I'm still in the trade.
Right. Man, I
Yeah.
had a pending buy limit set and it missed me by 50 cents. I was.
Mm-mm. Yeah.
But there's always gonna be another trade, so I'm not even pressed about it. But dang, that would have been clutch. That would have been clutch.
Well, speaking about Bitcoin, what are you excited about, or what are the whole concept? Speak on Bitcoin just from your perspective.
Well, I say from my perspective, Bitcoin is disrupting the financial industry. And so I'm all about building wealth. I'm all about my people building wealth, learning more about how money actually works and things of that nature. And Bitcoin has came in like a storm and just disrupted the financial industry. The same legacy industry that has held us down, held us back. And so I feel like this is our way to kind of get back, sticking to the man in a sense. You know, earn our freedom, our financial freedom, because um, Bitcoin. Let's see. I would have to say it like this: ever since our dollar, our U.S. dollar, got taken off the gold standard, our money has become monopoly money, basically. So the value has gone down ever since the early '70s, and so the buying power of the dollar is going to continue to go down. And so through inflation, guess what? We get that hidden tax. So you thought you was paying tax, sales tax, income tax, and all that. But there's a hidden tax which is called inflation, which means that when the prices go up in those goods that you normally buy, you're actually paying more money than you're supposed to be paying. And the
Right.
reason why is not because the value of the products went up, it's because the value of the dollar went down. And so the price had to compensate for it.
Right.
And I was listening to somebody, I forgot who it was, but I was listening to an interview on a webinar, and the individual said that back in the days of Greeks and Romans when they were running the world, they said that for like 1 ounce of gold you could get a pair of shoes, a toga, some kind of belt-like thing, whatever, and maybe some kind of cap or whatever, right?
Mm.
And he said nowadays that same ounce of gold gets you pretty much the same thing. Nice pair of shoes, a suit, whatever. So basically, the value of the clothes itself did not change,
Mm.
but the value of the gold went up because of our currency being debased. So
Right.
it has to go up to compensate, for the value of the actual currency going down. You get the same kind of stuff, it just costs you more money. And so I like that. That's crazy. So only having a job, which I currently do, I still have a job right now. I'm working on my way up the corporate plantation. But only having a job is not the way to go.
Yeah.
If you want to work a job, fine, but you have to have some kind of assets that's going to grow
Right.
at a pace that's going, higher than inflation. That way, for example, if I had $1 today, based on inflation, I'm just going to give you some random numbers, but just for the sake of conversation, $1 today, a year from now, well, right now, let's say $1 today, I could buy a dollar soda, from the soda machine, right? Cost me $1. Well, next year, that dollar soda may cost $1.25.
Mm-hmm.
And I only still had that $1. So now, guess what? I got to break out $1 and another quarter to buy that same soda. What if I put that same dollar into Bitcoin? On average, ever since inception, Bitcoin over the years has, on average, has doubled in value. Because of course, we have our bull market is going up like a rocket, and our bear market is going down. But over the years, it has basically doubled or tripled every year. So if I take that $1 and it goes to the Bitcoin, next year, hypothetically, I could have $2 worth of Bitcoin, or $3 worth of Bitcoin. But that same soda next year is going to cost $1.25. Guess what? I got $2 or $3 of buying power right now, because I put in Bitcoin versus just holding in my savings account. So
I mean, that's a real example.
And guess what? That $1 is not going to get you any interest or anything like that anyway. So, due to inflation, price is going to go up. You need to have something that's going to outpace inflation. And Bitcoin is one of those vehicles. You can do real estate, you can do business and all that, whatever. I'm just letting you know that Bitcoin is also an option that the regular person can do.
That's a very real example, though, because I'm sure all of us can think back to our childhood and think about any specific item and roughly how much they had to spend on it growing up and what it costs now, or even the volume or amount. Like, I don't even drink soda anymore, but growing up, you paid maybe 50 cents for a can of soda, and it was like, I think it was like 16 or 18 ounces, and now it's a 12-ounce can for $2.50. Like, wait. Okay, wait a minute. But that's a very relevant example that you gave. What was your first personal introduction to Bitcoin, and when did you buy your first any amount of Bitcoin?
Oh man, my first introduction to Bitcoin, I seen it on the net. I had a couple of friends that were just talking about it. I just didn't pay no mind because I was busy doing whatever I was doing. Whatever business I was trying to grow, whatever. I was like, I'm not interested in this Bitcoin thing. Didn't even take time to even look at it to see what it was about. But I kept on seeing folks posting about it. And that may have been back in 2013, 15-ish, maybe I heard about it or seen about it, but I didn't get my first Bitcoin until 2017. And I was in one company, network marketing company, in which that company closed down, shut its doors, and our team leaders were looking for a new home-based business to grow. And we were going to join this one company that was like based overseas, and it was really heavy into crypto. And we got to the point as a team, we were like, you know what? Because what we were selling before was, basically our products, you had to learn how to sell to make money. So even though we were learning stuff from the product or taking advantage of using consumer products, only way we could make money from those products was we had to sell it. So you had to have a skill set, certain skill set, learn how to sell and learn how to market and learn how to storytell and be able to paint a picture for people, for folks to see, like, you know what, I want that. I'm gonna go ahead and buy that. But it takes a skill set, and it takes not everyone can jump in and just do it off the bat. We was like, you know what, I want to join something in which the product itself will make me money. And so the crypto, we started talking about crypto and Bitcoin and how it was going to be the next big thing, blah, blah, blah. And so we were told to get our feet wet, buy something, go to Coinbase, set an account, buy like $50 worth of Bitcoin, or whatever the case may be, just so you know the process.
Right.
And so I did that in 2017. And that was when they had that last bull run where we went from like 2,000 to 20,000.
Yeah. And
so I had like $50 worth of Bitcoin. And at the time, by the end of the year, it was like around, it was like close to 500.
I know you were like, oh my God, I wish I put more in here.
Right.
Yep.
Is that one company that was overseas, our team leader went and had a conversation, with one of their team leaders, and before we made that step as a team, she got put on to one of my personal friends that was already in the current business that we're in, our current company that we're in. And she said, look, they teach Forex, and they're going to be incorporating this crypto training soon as well. And so they got a curriculum, it's laid out, you can learn. And so she checked it out, and it was like, whoa, this Forex thing's pretty cool. And they'll be teaching crypto soon too. So we got in before crypto started, rolling out in this particular company as far as the curriculum. But we knew that it was going to be part of the curriculum, and we saw that from the the training that was being presented and the education, that the company's pretty solid, and it was a smooth process as far as getting on board and stuff like that. And it's companies from overseas, they were just really just getting started. They didn't have a lot of that marketing material. It was really, really like not ground floor, but under the ground floor. So
it wasn't even in its infancy. It was like in the embryo still, sort of.
Yeah.
Go through that. We wanted to join something that was established as far as the process, and then just layer on this crypto information. So we was like, we're going to do crypto anyway. We go ahead and do some forex in the same, while we're waiting on that information, and we just go ahead and make some money learning forex. So now I can learn forex, trading in the currency, whatever. I don't have to sell the education to anyone to make money. I can make money from the skill set that I'm learning through forex.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, and so I bought my first piece of Bitcoin back in 2017, but I didn't really get on board with the crypto train until perhaps, let's see, I want to say March.
COVID.
Around this time, 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
Oh,
like a couple years. Okay.
When we joined the mastermind.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's when I really got because when Kurt laid
Curtis.
down.
Yeah.
That's when I was like, oh, okay.
Right.
So this is pretty cool. Like, okay, so I was like, let me go ahead and check my account to see how my Coinbase is looking. I was like, it's not $500 anymore. What happened? But once I started getting more education, learning how the markets move and everything, because when you learn how to trade with the forex, you know how to trade on stocks, you know how to trade on crypto or anything, because the charts are the charts, the fibs are the fibs. I'm fib-like forever. So understand how fibs and how the banks move and how they buy things, then you just buy with the banks. You learn how they move and you ride the wave. And so I can apply this to crypto too. Okay, yeah. So
yeah, so that's a wonderful answer.
Say it again?
I said that's a wonderful answer. I've found that in talking to more people about this space that they've had somewhat similar experiences, even if they've been at like different locations or doing something different, even if they've heard whisperings of Bitcoin in the past, until it was more of a tangible concept to them, they didn't really get involved. So I'm really glad. Even now, I understand that we are early adopters in this space, even though we're like, man, I wish I could have got Bitcoin at 9 cents, but it's still like, imagine by the next halving what the worth of Bitcoin will be. We really are early adopters in it. But my question for you, Valentino, would be, now that you're in this crypto space, what is a personal goal that you have for yourself? Not necessarily financially, but in general, like, what do you hope to achieve by now being involved in the crypto space?
Personally, of course, I want to stack sats, of course. Anything I have in my portfolio right now is geared towards to getting more Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin, for me, is the end goal. Everything else is just used to do arbitrage or flipping to acquire more Bitcoin or acquire more fiat currency so I can get more Bitcoin, because I understand that Bitcoin has a store of value and it's going to overtake gold as well in a store of value, because a lot of gold bugs are moving towards Bitcoin now because they realize that, for one, there's a finite amount of Bitcoin. That's 1 million that's ever going to be produced. You can't do that with gold. They're always finding gold somewhere, so there's not a finite amount of gold. So guess what? The demand, the prices, it's still going to fluctuate. Mathematically, Bitcoin is designed to go up in price. Mathematically, it has no choice but to go up as long as the demand at the minimum stays the same. Now, we know the demand is increasing exponentially, but even if it stopped at this level right now, this level of demand, this level of height, whatever the case may be, because of the halving and all that, mathematically, Bitcoin has to go up.
Right.
And as long as our government keeps on printing more money, guess what? The value of our currency goes down. So therefore, our assets that we use, the fiat currency, has no choice but to go up in value anyway.
Right.
So back to my example with soda, as prices go up, if my Bitcoin is growing faster than the price is going up, then guess what? Technically, my soda next year is going to be cheaper for me than it is for someone else. 10 years from now, that soda is going to be cheaper for me, even more cheaper for me, because Bitcoin is going to grow a lot faster than the price of that soda going up.
Right.
So actually, I'm getting a discount by investing into Bitcoin because it has a store of value. And if I want to, I can shed a little bit off. So you know what? I'm going to get 0.00000001 Bitcoin to buy me a car.
Okay.
We were speculating
Well, it's
that.
going to get to that point. In which a fraction of Bitcoin, which you call Satoshis, is going to be enough to, pay your bills and all that. And you still have that asset going for you. It's like a golden goose.
Right.
I take a little egg and, do my thing, but the goose stays. You don't kill the golden goose. Bitcoin's the golden. I had a friend that said, oh man, it's trying to get my money. I'm not paying all that money for no digital TV. I'm going to keep my analog TV. And what they do, they start putting out these converters. So you can get somewhat, HD TV on an analog set, but it didn't work out. And eventually they phased out those converters, and now those analog TVs are no longer available. You had to get a digital TV. So you got to get the sign of times. So you're either going to get into space or you're going to get into space. One way or another. So I'd rather get it, being inside. I want to have ownership of my crypto. I don't want to have someone else managing my crypto through a legacy system. Now I want to have my own stuff.
That was actually the next question. Jalisa is sort of fascinated with that a little bit. Adoption, the speed of adoption, like people getting on board with it. Do you feel like people either they got to get with the program, or they going like what's going to happen if they don't sign up with it? Like, say for example, we know that there's going to be the creation of the digital dollar. Like, it's already been written into effect years ago that the government has been planning on shifting our money over. So what about the meemaws and the pawpaws that are like, I got my money under my bed? Like, I mean, do you feel that the people who are resistant to it, the ones that you're saying still got the analog TV even in 2021, like in this space, what do you think might happen to those who don't want to switch over?
Well, here's the thing. Unless you're getting paper checks, and I know that there are some people still getting paper checks and they go and all that, but most people already are in a digital age anyway. Because the one thing is, if you got a credit card, you got a debit card, and you've been paying with a credit card, debit card, it's digital. It's not physical money. There's only a small percentage of physical money is out there in circulation. Most of our dollars are nothing but ones and zeros anyway. So you're already in it. It's just that it's not called crypto, it's just your paycheck, whatever the case may be. That's why when this whole pandemic went down and they put out their first stimulus, start seeing signs of all these merchants saying that, we're running out of, change and everything. Please use a debit card, please use a reason why is because guess what? If you put more ones and zeros out into the economy, and someone says, you know what? I got an extra $1,400, extra $200, $1,200, whatever the case may be. Well, I don't want to use a debit card to spend my money. I want to take this check and I'm going to cash it in the bank. The bank would be like, okay, yeah, hold on to it for a couple of days before we give it to you. Huh? It's my money. Well, what they're not going to tell you is they don't physically have enough money to give you $1,200 in cash. So you pay everything in cash. So now you got to wait a few days so they can talk to the other banks and say, yo, man, we need some actual dollars because these fools, they want real money. Why don't they use their debit? All right, we'll send some over. So they got to do all the shuffling around musical chairs to make sure that there's physical money available. So when you do come back and say you want to go ahead and cash in that check, they can give it to you. But guess what? Banks are no longer required to hold physical, cash anymore. You don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to. That started back. How convenient. They started back. I'm not trying to get conspiracy theories, but it happened around this time last year. Once started doing lockdowns from the pandemic and all that, whatever. But I follow a guy, Mike Maloney. He is, he's connected with 𝗹𝗶_HID𝗸, the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad. And so I follow them a lot. I follow other people from a financial standpoint, and he was talking about how the Fed basically said, like, there used to be like a certain amount of reserves that banks had to have on hand in order to do, certain transactions, loans, and all that. That stuff's going away now. They don't have to actually have physical money in their banks anymore. They don't have to. They can choose to, but they don't have to. The reason why is because too much overhead. Spending money for armored trucks and all that. And since we already knew the Fed was already working on everything going digital anyway, this was a way to kind of, roll us in slowly but surely to get used to the fact that we may not have physical money to be buying most of our things anymore. We have to use a debit card or a credit card, whatever the case may be. Yeah. So this stuff is rolling out. We're gonna get into the program one way or another, whether we want to or not. And those who do want to stay on the paper dollar, it's gonna make it hard for you. Now you can't get your money out like you want to. Now you're gonna have to find a way to put that check on some kind of debit card, whatever the case may be, so you can purchase your goods digitally. Right. So they're gonna make it hard for you if you want to stay on the analog system. It's gonna cost you more time. It could cost you more money. Cost you more money. So,
Man, you've been schooling us for real. Okay. I definitely appreciate that, the enthusiasm and the passion, because that's the energy that we get from our mastermind. I feel like on the daily, right. We love promoting our mastermind because we know just how far it has gotten us. So that's one of my questions, because a lot of people on the internet, they say what they say about I am, and they don't feel like it's necessary to be a part of a group or to have to pay for information and stuff like that. But how important is it to have, a community in the trading world, or, just investing?
Well, the name of the game is network. Your network is your net worth. You probably heard that around, or some variation of that. Got to have a community. Right. And the thing is, because most of us was not brought up with the right mindset of understanding, the importance of community and wealth and things of that nature. And you have to have a network of people to bounce ideas with, because just like you mentioned, mastermind. You can get more done with more people's minds melding together versus everyone individually. And it's called synergy. So us three right here, we actually accomplish more than the three of us individually adding them up. We multiply our results, multiply our creativity. Just from just connecting right here on this interview right here. Just, like you said, I dropped some knowledge for you. I appreciate it. I'm just learning, and I'm just sharing whatever I can. So now we can leave this interview just a little bit wiser about what's going on in our space. And those who are listening to this, they'll leave a little bit wiser than before, because they may not have been exposed to this piece of information except via you. That's why it's important for a network, because there'll be people that you'll be able to connect with that I can't connect with. But I'll be able to connect with them via you because of your relationship with your audience, and vice versa. There may be people that you would never connect with or never be able to connect with in my audience because they have no reason to know you, they have no reason to learn from you. They know me. But now they can learn, through you, from you, approximately from me, from my relationship with my audience, my network. So that's why it's important to have a network. And when it comes to building wealth overall, it really is about relationships, because a lot of stuff that comes down the pipe, it doesn't. Once it gets mainstream, it's pretty much too late. Yeah. This whole already in the know. They're like, hitting each other on the phone, like, man, I came up on this deal right here. Maybe want to get on it before we go ahead and go public with it. All right, cool. How much it's gonna cost me? It's gonna cost you this much, whatever the case may be. All right, bet. So that's why you have these, IPOs, ICOs, and you'll see that a lot of these investors have access to the cheapest price. Then once it goes public, once the company goes public, that thing is 10 times more than it was before. So now the regular person got to pay $100 for something that may cost, the insider, I don't say insider, but the investor that's connected to that company through relationships is able to get in on $10. So guess what? Now it multiplies a lot faster because of that relationship. You got to the people that are movers and shakers.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And that's something I say a lot is that, by the time we see it on our social media feeds, it's already too late. So, for some people like us, it's literally already old news. You know what I mean? Like, we're deep in profit. You know what I mean? By the time people are catching wind of it. So I got one final question for myself anyway. I don't know if Alana's thinking of anything else. But I want to know, like, okay, let's say you're getting a stimulus check. How are you spending it on crypto? Yeah, how do you split it up? What's your...
Split. I'm going to split.
Oh, okay. What we doing with it then?
This going on in crypto. And the thing is, I'm already gainfully employed, whatever the case may be. So I'm already able to pay my bills. I don't need no extra money to go buy some dumb stuff. It's going to go into... now, I may split it up between Bitcoin and maybe some kind of altcoin that's probably relatively low right now.
Okay, give me an alt. Which one? Just one.
Just one? Okay, all right. Relatively low. That's relative right now because there are some that, that may be like, $30 per coin, and that's relatively low. Knowing where things are gonna go, polka dot, so
right.
Polka dot.
No said. We speak about polka dot frequently, so
yes. And so the thing is, I want to be able to take some of those funds and put it into an altcoin that's going to grow faster than Bitcoin, because we know it's going to take a little while for Bitcoin to double and triple in value.
Right.
But I got some altcoins in my portfolio right now that already doubled and tripled in value over the past couple of days. So now I can take that same money, flip it, and then go ahead and buy more Bitcoin. And then, just stack up. Just flip, stack.
I know that's a fact, and I'm in the same school of thought as you. The second this thing hits my account, it's going straight into crypto. I already know that, like, I love so much about the Polkadot ecosystem. I absolutely love the fact that Kurt did a class covering Polkadot last night, and we got class in a couple of hours again. But the second I get my check, 80% of it's going into Polkadot. The other 20% is probably going into fees. But
right, yeah.
Man.